Chapter 2. The power of information. In my opinion, nothing empowers like knowledge. To be informed is to be transformed, and to be uninformed is to be deformed. Information is both the gateway for man's advancement and the cure for all his frustration. Information is the key factor to man's success in the race of life. You cannot fail with facts. Every candidate writes things down in the examination hall, but only those who have the facts get the marks. There is no substitute for information in your quest for a change of position. Not even intercession can substitute for information. Being informed is not just knowing something, it is possessing the working knowledge of that thing. There are many things you know, but you don't have a working knowledge of. Until you know how it is applied, it holds no value. I consider information as any bit of news that influences your thoughts and actions. It is the force that rules the world. According to the Bible, the church of the last days will be the custodian of the highest form of information. Nothing creates a future like the revelation of Scripture. Why? Because it has an inherent force within to bring about transformation in all areas. Romans chapter 12 verse 1 to 2. Your speed in life is determined by the quality of information at your disposal and the level of insight with which you are operating. You will recall how that God said to Abraham, "Lift up now your eyes to the north, the south, the east, and the west, and all the land that you see, unto you will I give it." How far you can see determines how far you can go. You cannot go beyond the information at your disposal. The brighter you see, the faster you go. The more informed you are, the greater the result you command. I see information as the currency of destiny. It determines your purchasing power in the market of life. Don't stop learning. Everything you are or do today is a result of the information of yesterday. The news you acquired determines the move you generate. Moves you generate determines the waves you cause, which determines the news you make. It is a continuous cycle. You cannot be genuinely informed without making appropriate moves. You cannot make appropriate moves without generating undeniable proofs, and you cannot generate proofs without causing unquestionable waves, and you cannot cause waves without commanding attention, that is, making news. Unfortunately, learning stops for many as soon as they graduate from college. But as Abraham Lincoln said, "I don't think much of any man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday." We live in a changing world, so you have to keep pace with current knowledge. If the information at your disposal is obsolete, then it cannot produce any current results. I want to believe that tradition is the worst enemy of civilization because it has no regard for current knowledge. I believe the problem of the developing world today is largely that of undeveloped human resources. There is a dearth of human capital. I am not just talking of educational qualification, but purposeful education as well. For instance, all year round, most parts of Africa is climatically conducive for agriculture, yet most parts of Africa live purely on goods imported from nations that paradoxically for a quarter of the year have no natural grace to plant anything because they are covered in snow. Why? Undeveloped human resources, because we are uninformed. Henry Ford said, anyone who stops learning is old, either at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. The greatest thing in life is to keep your mind young. That is, to keep one's mind open to new insights and information that will help in generating solutions to bugging issues. Information demands discipline, as it doesn't jump on people. It is only available to explorers. It is a product of an intelligent search. Nobody is responsible for where you are but you, not even the devil. The main problem is the lack of appropriate information. Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." But a discovery of the truth always demands discipline. Readers are leaders. Some years ago, someone asked me how I get time to read. I replied by asking him how he gets time to eat. Then I said, what eating is to you is what reading is to me. Everybody gets time to eat. No matter your calling, profession, or career, without relevant information, you don't have a future. You don't become a man of impact by wishing. You only become one by learning what it takes to do exploits. It has been proved beyond any doubt that committed readers are those who become great leaders. You cannot lead anyone if you don't see ahead. Dedicated readers and information hunters are the ones that become great leaders. Remember, common sense at its best will only produce common results. Even the gift of wisdom can become stale if you do not learn from others, because an iron cannot sharpen itself. It has to be sharpened by another iron. If you are not rubbing your mind with others, it will soon become dull. With common sense, therefore, one is only heading for a common future. Everyone aiming for an outstanding future must be committed to rubbing his little mind with greater mind, thereby becoming sharper by the day. To be a man and woman of impact, you must be committed to an insatiable hunger for ever increasing insight in your field. A wise man said, "You will be the same that you are this year in 5 years' time, except for two things: the books you read and the people with whom you walk." When Apostle Paul said Study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that will not be ashamed. He simply meant study if you don't want to be ashamed. No matter your field of endeavor in life, if you are not studious, you are heading for shame without knowing. A time will come when the things you are saying will no longer be relevant to the need of the people around you. Nothing transforms like information, and it takes meekness to be committed to the act of learning. The book of the law. Without references, you don't become a reference. Without information, no one truly has a future. Information will reduce your religious struggle. In this wide world that we live in, we all need a veritable guide to go through safely, and God has designed the channel of information to be the cure for our frustration. He said to Joshua, "This book of the law contains everything you need to become everything you are created to be." The book of books called the Bible provides a dignified guide for your journey on earth. It is God's recommendation for a colorful destination. You cannot arrive at a colorful destiny without this book. You also have access to professional materials that can enhance your skills and help in your pursuit of excellence. Therefore, invest your time, resources, and energy. Nothing is more valuable than insight in the journey of life. If you leave your life to chance, you don't have a chance. Life becomes like a lottery, and when life becomes a lottery, the future becomes a mockery. Don't leave your life to chance. Leave it to viable choices, and make your choices based on sound information. Someone has said that the largest room in the world is the room for improvement. So, go and improve on yourself through a quest for viable, resourceful, and productive information. Notes: Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, Isaiah chapter 2 verse 1 to 3, Genesis chapter 13 verse 14 to 17, John chapter 8 verse 32, Proverbs chapter 27 verse 17, 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15, and Joshua chapter 1 verse 8. Ponder points. You are either running with a vision, going on a mission, or burning with a passion. If you do not belong to any of these, life is reduced to a burden. Dr. David Oyedepo.